You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and happy birthday to some famous Aries. Paul Rudd celebrates a birthday today, the man who never ages. In typical Aries fashion, he just has this childlike quality about him. Candace Cameron Bure of Full House has a birthday today. Zach Braff, makes sense, very Aries. Michael Rooker. Merle Haggard would have celebrated a birthday today. The little kid in me who loved classic country is very excited about that. And I'm not seeing anybody else who's super notable, but happy birthday to you. If you're in Aries, let me know if you know someone celebrating a birthday, and we'll give them a shout out too. Also, the first person who popped up on this list was Peyton List. I don't know who that is, but maybe I'm just out of touch. Maybe that's somebody famous who I am not aware of. Grand Rising Bailey, thanks for being here. So today we're talking all about the Gemini Moon. That's what's stealing the show today. And we still have some major transits playing out in the background that we'll feel the energy of. However, all the connections happening today all have to do with the moon. So let's pull up our chart and see what we're working with. All right, so here is the current chart. The moon is at 18 degrees Gemini. You see that Saturn and Mars are still within a degree of each other, and we have Jupiter and Neptune within a degree of each other. So we're pulling away from this conjunction in Aquarius that we talked about on Monday. And we're coming into another conjunction in Pisces between Jupiter and Neptune, a much more pleasant conjunction. A lot of astrologers are really excited about this conjunction that's exact, I believe, on April 12th. Let me double check that for you. I believe it's April 12th. So we're not within a degree just yet. We'll get there in the next couple days. But just keep that in your awareness. Keep that April 12th date. That, next week is going to be a very abundant, dreamy week because of this conjunction. But today, I really feel like today is all about processing with this Gemini moon. We're still pulling away from that conjunction between the sun and Chiron, also Mercury being involved there. We've had a lot of tense transits over the past week, and not necessarily tense in the sense that they have wreaked all-out chaos in your life necessarily, but the emotions they brought up might have felt a little bit uncomfortable. So this Gemini moon is really giving us the opportunity to process our emotions through words, whether that's speaking or writing. The Gemini moon loves us to use our words. Oh my gosh, you guys, there are so many birds right outside my window here. I just saw a white dove fly by and a bluebird. Just wanted to share that with you. Grand rising to you, Jackie. So let's go through what's happening with the Gemini moon today. As I mentioned, the Gemini moon makes us more social, more chatty. We are processing emotions through communication, through learning as well. It's not just about expelling our thoughts, but also bringing in new information. So journaling, brainstorming could be great tools for processing your emotions today. Expect your mental state to be a little bit more active. while the moon is in Gemini. And this is still the waxing crescent moon. So we had that new moon in Aries last Thursday. We have the first quarter moon in Cancer on Saturday. Right now, we're in the planning stage. We are gathering more information. We're preparing to take action, which really makes it beautiful that we're under this Gemini moon, making us more comfortable gathering information and more aligned with that. So now's the time. Process things, bring in more data. At 5 a.m., the moon formed a supportive angle to the sun. Good morning, Court. So we started our day with this energy, this vitality. When the moon and the sun form this support with one another, the moon's in Gemini. So like our internal dialogue with the moon in Gemini is supporting our external expression with the sun in Aries, especially because the sun is in Aries. It's like the moon being in an air sign is fanning the flames of the fiery Aries sun. So our inner desires, our inner dialogue, again, is kind of fanning the flames of our external expression. This is helping us to stay true to ourselves, to express our authentic selves as we embark on our day to day. So that already passed us by. We might have woken up feeling that energy of vitality, of confidence, of being ready to just show up in the world. 3 p.m. Pacific time is our next transit with the Gemini moon, and it will form another supportive angle, this time to Mercury. So you can see the sun at 16 degrees. That's where the moon started supporting this morning. And then once the moon hits 20 degrees, it'll be forming that same supportive angle to Mercury. Now, when the moon supports Mercury, especially because the moon's in Gemini, very fast-paced, very information-focused, Mercury being in Aries, also very fast-paced information, or almost like impulsive information, bold words, communication coming through. It could feel like the day just picks up the pace when Mercury and the moon form this sextile, both of them in very fast-moving signs. This can help us talk about how we're feeling, but I would just say don't be surprised if your words and thoughts feel like they're stuck on fast forward. Like this could feel a little bit like word vomit, and not necessarily in a bad way because this is a supportive angle. We just want to be very intentional with how we're using our words. This transit does have the potential to just speed things along, whether it's involving communication or not, because Mercury is the fastest planet in our solar system. Really, anytime it makes a connection to another planet, especially the moon, it's going to just like pick up the pace. So 3 p.m. could feel like, okay, things are picking up, whether we're verbalizing them, whether we're writing them down or not. Even right now, being ruled by Mercury, I feel like I experienced the Mercury transits really acutely. And, you know, Mercury in Pisces, it felt like my head was just in kind of a fog. I was definitely imaginative and dreaming, but I was like, whoa. Mercury in Aries, I find myself kind of like not tripping up on words, but like they're trying to come out faster than my tongue and my body can actually handle. So that's how this afternoon's transit might feel for you, especially because, like I said, the moon's in Gemini. We want to emotionally process things. We want to talk things out, you know, but it could feel like you can't get them out fast enough. Or quite the opposite, you're talking too fast and you're not able to like reel it back in, you know? So just don't be surprised if the pace feels a little bit fast this afternoon. And then the major transit that we will feel by tonight, it's like this giant mashup of energy. So you know what, let me fast forward on the chart because I want to be able to show this to you so you can understand there's like 5 planets connecting all within a 4-hour span. This is happening between about 5 and 9 p.m. Pacific time. We'll really be feeling this energy. So we'll jump ahead to, let's see, we'll go to like 6 p.m. here. Okay. So the moon is at 23 degrees. Now look at all the other planets on our chart at 22 and 23 degrees. We just talked about this at the beginning of this live stream, right? Mars and Saturn at 22 and 23 degrees, and Jupiter and Neptune at 22 and 23 degrees. So when the moon hits this point in Gemini, it is going to feel like there's just a lot of energy coming at us. And it's interesting because the moon, if you look at the chart, is going to square off to these planets in Pisces, but it's going to harmonize with these planets in Aquarius. Now, what's interesting is that the planets it's harmonizing with, it has this very fortunate connection with, are considered more malefic or negative planets. Mars and Saturn, they're kind of the troublemakers of the zodiac. The planets that the moon is squaring off to, forming this harsh, conflicting angle with, are really beautiful, positive, energetic planets. So it's this very chaotic, interesting mashup of energy. And here's how I see it playing out. It's like this energetic blender, right? And I think that this is a really good point. If you have a copy of your chart, I actually just discovered the app Time Passages. A lot of people have told me about it, and I just hadn't discovered it yet, but I really like it actually. So it's a free app. You can just have your birth chart available to you at any time, and it has the degrees on it and everything. So if you haven't downloaded Time Passages and you're a regular viewer and you don't have a copy of your birth chart, this is not an advertisement. This is just me telling you a tool that I think would work for you. So anyway, if you have a copy of your birth chart, pay attention to where that 22-23 degree mark falls in Aquarius and in Pisces. Is there anything going on there in your chart? That's going to amplify the energy of that connection. Okay, so like for example, if you have Saturn in Aquarius at, we'll just say 22 degrees, you're going through your Saturn return, you're going to feel that energy pull a little bit more than the connection to what's going on in Pisces. So I think that could help you discern how this mashup of energy is going to affect you. That being said, if you don't know where these things fall in your chart, that's okay. Here's how I see the general energy of this transit playing out. So let's talk about the connections let's talk about the square first, because we tend to feel a square more harshly. So the moon in Gemini squaring off to Neptune and Jupiter can create this level of spontaneity. When the moon squares off to Jupiter, we're like, let's do something. We're very optimistic, maybe overly optimistic. We might overestimate how much energy we have. But with Neptune thrown in the mix, we can be deceived. We can be confused. We might even confuse ourselves again with how much energy we have, or we might be overly optimistic, willing to buy into an illusion or an ideal or a belief without really gaining all the facts. That's why I said there is a huge emphasis today on processing and gathering information. Be open to new information. Let it come in, but maybe don't make any decisions about that information, at least between 5 and 9 p.m. Pacific time, because there will be some confusion. And then, you know, when the moon harmonizes with Mars and Saturn at the same time, it's allowing us to take charge. We want to step into a leadership role. We want to push forward, and we can do so with ease with this nice flowing angle. We have the motivation and the drive, especially if we have an idea. We're like, go for it, do it, with Mars and Saturn harmonizing. And Saturn can also help us come from like a more mature, responsible place. Very much welcome during this transit. Normally we're like, oh gosh, Saturn, what's Saturn doing? In this case, like, thank goodness for Saturn, okay? Saturn is keeping us here on Earth. Saturn is reminding us of our responsibilities. Saturn is like, hey, wait, maybe that's not such a good idea. Are you sure? Are you sure you have all the facts? Are you sure that this person that you want to jump into a car with is going to take you where they say they're going to take you? That was a very specific example, but you get what I'm saying. So it could feel during this energetic blender, if you will, like it's hard to decide whether to hit the accelerator or hit the brakes. It could just feel like a lot of energy coming at us all at once, maybe information coming in, maybe ideas coming in, maybe conversations that are encouraging you or pushing you to do something, to act on something, but you just don't quite know where to go next. It could bring an energy of just confusion, chaos, restlessness, It's just a lot of energy all together in a short period of time. So I really think this is going to affect people more on an individual level, depending on what's really active in their chart. For example, if you have a Gemini moon and the moon is transiting on top of your moon this time, you're probably going to be a little bit more emotional about what's happening. So this is why I don't do daily horoscopes. This is why I ask you to pull out your chart and take a look, because this energy every day affects us all so individually. And the deeper you go into astrology, the more aligned you become with how the energy is affecting you. That is exactly how I feel. Okay, yeah, I'm here for it. I love the confirmation, love the validation. That was a very specific example. Sometimes you told me this the other day, Jackie, but sometimes these visuals just like pop into my head and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to share this because I am a visual learner. I like having an example or a visual to come back to. Like, it's just helpful for me. So I'm just going to share these visuals as they pop into my head with you. So overall today, it could feel like we're starting the day, we have energy, we have vitality, we're bringing in new information, we're curious, we're learning, the pace is picking up, but we're here for it. Like the Gemini moon wants us to be busy, wants us to be social, doing all the things. And then by tonight, it could just feel like, whoa, like, do we speed up? Do we slow down? Do we stop? Do we go? We're confused. Are we buying in? Are we distancing? So just know that if you're feeling a little bit like lost, that's okay. And there will be more clarity. In fact, over the next couple days, Mercury, I believe, is going to connect with Saturn and Mars. Yeah, once Mercury hits 22, 23 degrees. And that actually can bring us more clarity because this will be nice supportive angles between Mercury, Saturn, and Mars. So that can help us figure out where we really want where our motivations really are, what our desires really are, kind of act from a place of responsibility, understand the lessons over the next couple of days. It just might feel like you're gathering more data for that understanding to happen today. And like another specific example, if I may, this energy, like I keep describing it as an energetic blender, but something else, another example that just came to mind is like, if you've ever been in a class, we'll just say high school. Most people have been in a high school class. And did you ever have a teacher who was like, we're going to do the study guide together for the final? Or we're going to do this, like, you're allowed to have this one sheet of paper that you take into the test, right? Have you ever had a teacher like that? And you feel like you're cramming and you're pulling in all this information and it's so chaotic and you're like, I am not digesting any of this. I am just literally trying to get it down on the paper to have a reference during the test. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the energy of this afternoon. Like, we're just bringing in the information and honestly, just like write it down, get it out of your brain, speak it, process it, get it out, and trust that when you need it, it'll be there for you. But you don't have to do anything with that study guide, with all that data coming in today. It's all about information today is what I'm getting. So let's do a little overview and then we will pull a card. This Mercury day is all about the Gemini moon. We start our day with supportive angles between the moon and the sun, helping us show up confidently, letting our inner self fan the flames of our outer expression. And then this afternoon, the moon forms that same supportive angle to Mercury. Now, this could pick up the pace a little bit. It could feel like our thoughts and words are coming in at warp speed. It's really going to pick up the pace, bring that fire through our communication. By tonight, though, it could feel a little chaotic or confusing because the moon is squaring off to Jupiter and Neptune. That's going to cause the confusion and maybe make us a little overly optimistic. At the same time, the moon is forming a harmonious angle to Saturn and Mars, which makes us feel like we want to speed up and slow down all at once. Hence the confusing energy. Today is all about processing our emotions through our words. So if you're feeling chaos at any point, if you feel like the information coming in is too much, write it down or speak it out. Your words are your greatest asset for processing the feelings that are coming up. And take today to process. Take today to gather that data, to gather more information ahead of the first quarter moon this Saturday. This is the time to plan and prepare. So take in all the information, write it down, take note, and wait to take action on it. Okay? All right. Let's see. Let's pull a card from the Moonology deck. Oh, good. I'm so glad it was on point for you. And I love that you've been taking little notes just to get all the thoughts out of your head. Sometimes I do that, like especially as a Virgo, and I know that, I think you're a Gemini, right, Jackie? So you're probably the same. You have like a lot of mental activity going on. Sometimes if it's like so much in my head, I just make a list. I just have to do a brain dump. I'm like, I have to trust that if I put it down on paper, I won't forget, but it's just taking up too much mental capacity for me. Hello, happy to see you here. Oh, I am so jealous. Can you just like FaceTime me from the beach so I can pretend I'm there? I actually just discovered we had an episode of The Spiritual Journalist about human design yesterday, and I discovered that shores is part of my human design, which is why I'm so drawn to the ocean and why I have to live near the ocean someday. It's part of the plan. It's what I'm manifesting. So just put your feet in the sand for me. I'm so jealous that you live so close to the ocean. I mean, I don't live that far, but it's not a quick enough drive to just like hop in my car and go. Hi, the app I recommended was Time Passages, and I wish I'm streaming on my phone, but if you just search the App Store for Time Passages, it's like a blue symbol with a little moon, and I really like the app, actually. I just downloaded it a couple days ago, but you can save your chart in there. I believe you can save other people's charts, and it will tell you, if you start to dig around a little bit, what aspects are happening for you between your chart and the current chart, like what energy is playing out for you every day. So that's a great app to keep handy during these live streams too. And if you notice, like, okay, there's this like major angle happening between my chart and the current chart, you can always throw that in the comments and be like, what does it mean if the sun is squaring my sun, or, you know, whatever is happening for you. Look at that. All of you already ready to take notes. You already are aligned. You are like, got the notebook ready. Yes, right on schedule. Okay, so we're going to pull from the Moonology deck. I love to pull from this deck when we have such a moon-focused show. Let me pull up the guidebook, digital guidebook, and we'll see what needs to come through as I'm shuffling. Always the time to let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if there are any other apps you use to track your chart and what's happening for you every day. I'm always open to new apps. I also just downloaded, I forget what it's called, another app too, just to test it out, because I'm like, you know, I stick to like a couple different sites, but there are so many resources out there. Why not explore them? I will say though, before I pull this card, I have a beef with CoStar, and people are always like, do you have CoStar? And I'm like, I do not like CoStar. It's so confusing and cryptic to me. And the descriptions it gives, I'm like, how are you supposed to do anything with this? Like, I need something more concrete than this. Like, I feel like a lot of Aquariuses like CoStar. They're like, it's weird, it's different. Okay, let's pull a card. What do we need to know today? Luck is on your side. Love that. We pulled the new moon in Sagittarius card. So let's find out what the guidebook has to say about this. Anytime someone tells me luck is on my side, though, I mean, that has to be a good omen, right? I also love that we have the new moon in Sagittarius card, because that brings a lot of energy with it. And also we're talking about the Gemini moon, which is opposite Sagittarius. So similar energy, but opposite energy, if you will. And I just feel like this is very indicative. There's like a lot of energy coming at us today. Okay. New moon in Sagittarius. Whatever is coming your way, it looks set to put a smile on your face. The new moon in Sagittarius can mark the restart of fun after a period of feeling low. The energy is adventurous and even willing to take a few risks, but be careful you don't bet the farm on something here, as the wheel of fortune is still spinning. This card is about exploring life metaphorically by exchanging big ideas with others or just thinking about your own philosophies. Perhaps it's time to change your mind about something important. It can also signal that a trip away is coming up if that's something you're working to achieve. But the overall message of this card is that whatever happens next will be some sort of gift, even if that simply means widening your worldview. Count your blessings, literally. Write them down or say them out loud. What? That's what it tells us to do. Write them down or say them out loud. It's also saying you need to laugh more. This is a wonderful time to start a course, to study, to teach. Don't be narrow-minded. Start a week of gratitude practice. Wow. So if you are feeling overwhelmed at any point today, or really at any point in general, a great thing to do, especially if, like, I think yesterday we were talking about the practice of like rage on the page, which is also a great way to process emotions. If you are feeling angry, just get out a journal, rage on the page, get it all out of you. But sometimes I feel like I want to sit down and like get thoughts out of my head, but I don't know where to start. And that's when I usually start with writing down a few things I'm grateful for. I think that is what this card is telling us to do. Count your blessings, write them down, or say them out loud. It can be a beautiful, beautiful way to work with the Gemini Moon, just by simply writing down things you're grateful for. And that could spark you to keep writing about something else, or spark a conversation, or, you might write down, I'm grateful for my best friend, and then be like, you know what, I'm going to text her. I'm going to let her know that I feel that way. So the Gemini Moon is all about learning and sharing and teaching. And this new moon in Sagittarius card is telling us that by doing that, by leaning into our ability to learn new information, to expand our mind, to use our words, it can bring us closer to our fortune. And that good fortune is coming regardless, you guys. This is a good omen. We love to see it. Good morning. Happy to see you here. Just finished writing about gratitude. You are right on time, Bailey. Seriously. I used to have a daily gratitude practice. I have not been doing it daily, but I think this card is reminding me, get back into it every day. It really is so helpful. Like Oprah does this every day. If gratitude can bring abundance to Oprah at the level it's brought abundance to Oprah, I think there's something for all of us in a gratitude practice, right? Okay, well, that's our card for today. And that's it for our forecast, just that Gemini moon. We still do, like I said, have Mars and Saturn pulling away from each other, still feeling the energy of their conjunction. So just know if any irritations or limiting beliefs are coming up for you, or frustrations, or it doesn't feel like things are happening as fast as you'd like them to, everything's happening for you in divine timing. Mars and Saturn are just teaching us a few lessons along the way. And then the North Node is going to be supporting Neptune for a while too. So we probably are thinking about these big dreams of our purpose over the next couple weeks. And that could be making us feel a little bit like restless or confused about our direction and what we're supposed to be doing. But just know that over time, as this transit becomes more exact, it'll be exact on the 14th. So next week, we could gain a little bit more understanding or clarity. It's just going to be a slow process of whatever is actualizing in our mind to become more clear. It's like slowly focusing in on whatever that vision is. Aww, I am grateful for you, Becca. That just made my whole day. Thank you so much. Ugh, I love you guys. Okay, today was your first day in a while. So aligned. That gives me confidence. I can get back on the horse today. Absolutely. Always an opportunity to start new. Okay. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I'll end with our affirmation of the day. It's kind of a long one, but I take my time observing my experience and assessing the data it provides. I take my time observing my experience and assessing the data it provides. Every moment of every day is bringing in new information, is bringing in new data, and that's why today is all about processing. Just be the observer. Be open to learning something new. Being the observer can help you find gratitude in your life too, observing the gratitude around you, observing the beautiful things happening in your life, observing what you want to change as well. But today's all about just gathering, just learning, taking in the data, wait to do anything with it until later in the week. But I will be right here with you tomorrow, Friday, walking you through the energy, helping you use it to the best of your ability. Today just feels like that middle point. I think tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, we're going to start feeling more of that forward motion towards the direction we really want to go. So I'm excited to chat with you about that tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you can make it back here tomorrow. I'm loving all of the conversation. I'm loving all the chatter in the comments. It makes me so happy. And just all of your encouragement means the world to me. So thank you so much for showing up for this community today. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. It is the most fun way to start my day with all of you. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning, but until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.